again. YouTube, we're here. Yay. Sorry for technical difficulties. I finally got myself together. So welcome to the midweek officially, everybody. Midweek meditation. Have friends on Facebook, great to see you. And my friends on YouTube, great to see you. Thanks for bearing with. I know we're about 5 minutes late here. But technical things. I am the control room, the camera person, the audio person, the all things. But it's so great to see you all. Drop me a comment in the chat logs if you'd like, just to say hi, or show me an emoji, or if you want to say something, feel free, or just go incognito. That's totally fine as well. Oh, I'm so grateful to be here. It is Wednesday. It is midweek. And I've been noticing that my students are kind of dragging. So I thought, let's start to do a little thing for November through December. Mwah, hearts to you too, my friend. Do something November through December, just a little midweek inspiration, a pick-me-up. If you've never meditated before, give you a little guidance, a little someone to hang out and show you how it's done, maybe. I'll do my best on that one. And then also, if you have been meditating a while and you just need like a little refresh or to feel like you're not always alone on the meditation cushion, we are here together. For those of you I don't know, welcome and hello whenever and wherever you're watching this. My name is Gita, and I'm a spiritual activist, a musician, and a writer. And I follow the integral yoga lineage, which is a very classical yoga lineage that is really dedicated to helping us feel more peaceful, more easeful, and more useful. What could be better than that? So whatever I share with you today is look at it like an experiment in thinking about your life in a way where you can find happiness that's a little more permanent, happiness that is a little more sustainable and lasting for you, and see how this stuff resonates with you, and just experiment with it. And you will know how to apply it in your own life, knowing that you can adjust, adapt, and accommodate for wherever you're at. So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to chat for about 10 minutes or so on the subject of gratitude. Did I say again, I'm grateful for you? I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for you. We're going to talk a lot about gratitude, what it is, why we need it, all that good stuff. And then we'll do a meditation at the end that will bring in some of the gratitude techniques we're talking about. But I think it's really useful to start with a little talk about gratitude because it gets a little bit of a bad rap. And sometimes we don't know how to practice gratitude. We only know how to feel it as an emotion. And it's really central to many, many spirit traditions to practice gratitude as an actual technique and as a way of life. So I thought that's how we're going to do it. Little chat, little meditation. Hopefully you'll feel that little midweek lift and you'll go back into your week with your course sort of set on perhaps something more joyful. I do want to say I got a big old dog in the room with me. My 100-pound dog, Ranger, is here with me. He's right at my feet. It's very possible the mailman will come and you will get to hear his voice as well. If that happens, we will roll with it because I like to teach, yoga and meditation in real life, which is like stuff happens. So we'll say hi to him if we hear a big dog. Okay, gratitude. My friends, who here has ever struggled with feeling grateful when life is shitty? I'm putting up both of my hands. You're like, gratitude, F that, right? Like, whatever, life is hard. So let's get into that a little bit. First of all, let's look at the season we're in. It's November, and we have Thanksgiving at the end of this month, traditionally in the United States. And that is usually a time where we stop, we pause, and we notice what's around us. We notice the autumn harvest, we notice the food, we notice the family, the friends, and we take a moment to really intentionally practice that gratitude. On that one day, we're like, that's a day, we're going to do it on that one day. But what would happen for our joy, for our sustainable peace, if we made that a practice every day to pause and to notice? So let's just let that thought kind of hang out there because we're going to do a lot of pausing and noticing today. But let's also think about the season. So I live in New England. November is a time of year where the leaves are falling. It's getting colder outside. I got my little shawl on. I finally had to turn on the heat today. I made it until November, whatever it is, 3rd. And I gave up. I was like, I can't do it. I was literally shivering in my kitchen. So finally, we need the heat. We need our little cozy pajamas. But think about what's happening in the natural world, because we're a part of that. Very easy analogies to think of a maple tree. The maple trees here on our property at Three Dog Farm, the leaves are turning yellow as they lose their chlorophyll. Soon those leaves will drop as the tree itself draws energy down towards its roots so it can have a little rest. Yes, trees do rest in the winter. They actually require that for their growth. So they can rest in the winter and do the reorganization that they need at the soil and underneath the soil level. Well, nothing's underneath the soil, but you know what I mean. Between the roots of the tree and all the fungi that live under there, they need to do all that reorganization so that come spring, chow, they can live again. So what does that mean for us? Well, the analogy of the leaves falling away gives us an opportunity to look at our behaviors, our mindsets, our emotions that we need to let go of this fall. So pause for a moment. Think about, is there any crap you're carrying around that you would really like not to carry into winter so that you don't have to spend energy all winter hanging on to that suffering? Is there a mindset, a behavior pattern, a thought, whatever it is, anything negative that you have that, man, what would it feel like if you spent fall cultivating an attitude of letting those things go? And then another thing that the trees are doing with directing that energy towards the roots is a little bit like what we do in the garden with harvesting the fall harvest, the last of the pumpkin and the squash and all of that. What are the things in your life that you actually want to harvest and hold on to during these long, cold, dark months of winter? So it's a twofold process going on in nature right now that we can sort of use as a nice metaphor for our own lives. Leaves falling, what do you want to let go of? Sometimes just to know and to say it is enough to cue your attention the next time that thought pattern comes up and you start to get pulled down again. And then that other analogy of the trees drawing the energy and the sap literally down towards the roots or harvesting in from the garden. What are those things that you want to draw in and make sure you hold onto for the rest of fall into winter so that you're really cultivating your inner soil, if you will? Let's take the metaphor there. Cultivate that inner soil so that in spring, then you start to notice the effects of all of this practicing you've done. It's kind of a nice way to sort of think about it. So with this, then gratitude can be a help, especially with the harvesting what is working. Yeah, or we'll deal with letting go in another meditation this month. But right now, let's focus on that harvesting what is working, or drawing into the center core of your being, who you are, and with harvesting and gathering in what's useful. This is where we can shift gratitude from being something that just happens spontaneously to an actual practice. So let's talk about gratitude as a practice for a moment, and then we will practice a little bit, then we'll meditate. So if gratitude is a practice and a choice, if I had to write a definition, I'd say gratitude is a practice and a choice. Most of us, though, however, we wait for a feeling to wash over us. Someone holds a door open for us. I feel grateful. A friend drops off food spontaneously. We feel so grateful. Or a friend calls when we have a moment of stress and we feel grateful. We can all relate to that. Yeah, raise a hand, nod a head. I feel you. Hi, I see you there in the chat log. So if we are then looking at gratitude as something that happens to us, we're kind of stuck in suffering. Because if someone waves you into traffic, you're like, oh, thank you. You let me in. Thank you. There are good people in the world. Great. That's for that moment, we feel happy. But then 2 minutes later, I'm looking at you, Boston drivers, that cut us off in traffic. And now we're angry. Now we're pissed the F off, right? How dare they do that? Oh, that guy's such a jerk. Blah, blah. And we start this whole story about what it means that this person cut us off. In that way, our feeling of gratitude will always be dependent on the outside world. And it will always be fleeting and temporary. We will forever be stuck. And I do this. I'm guilty. I'm not saying I'm perfect at this. This is why I teach it, so I can learn it. But we'll forever be stuck in needing life to be a certain way so that we can feel happy. Oh my goodness. Can I say that again? We will forever be stuck in needing life to be a certain way so that we can feel happy. And that is really a trap. It's really a trap. I think you can kind of see and we've all been there, and we're caught in these waves. So in spiritual life, we are cultivating and choosing practices that connect us to a more permanent feeling of happiness, where we're not dependent on the outside world to be a certain way. We don't need to control other people or have demand or expectation or rules for how they engage with us so that we'll feel happy and grateful. We take inner responsibility for cultivating the act of practicing gratitude. So let me put a little big caveat here, because I can hear the people going, "Arr!" Here's the deal. You do not always have to practice actively being grateful. There are times when life brings us to our knees. You lose your home to a forest fire. A loved one is going through cancer. You're going through cancer. Someone is emotionally abusing you, or any other number of really awful, horrible things that can happen to us human beings. In those moments, sometimes all we can do is just hang on, right? We can just hang on, take care of our immediate needs, make sure that we're safe, make sure that we get ourselves around people who are going to protect us, make sure we have food and water. And in those moments, this practice of gratitude can kind of sit on the shelf for a moment until a time where we have a moment where we can, now let me reconnect with this technique. So I don't want to ever spiritually bypass your suffering and to say, oh, come on, it's not that bad. You just need to practice gratitude. I mean, come on, that's not fair. And by the way, that's called gaslighting, denying another person's reality. It's not cool. Sometimes we just need to cry and feel the pain or get ourselves out of a really bad situation until we can then sort of reconnect. So if you're experiencing extreme sadness, trauma, grief right now, just know that you're not alone. Know that you have people. You got me in your corner and all these other people watching this video as well. They're with you. Do what you need to do to address your immediate needs, and know that practicing gratitude will come around when it's supposed to. That's it. So never think that spirituality is all just rainbows and kittens. Sometimes we just gotta survive and then address things later in our growth. Okay. So let's get to the actual gratitude practice, and then it's meditation time. Let me check my fabulous scribbled notes here. Yeah. So, and I also wanted to mention this too. I talk a lot about spirituality. Spirituality here coming from the root spiritus, which spiritus is really just this breath, life, aliveness. That's all it really means. So spiritual life is about becoming more alive, becoming more present in the moment. And so when I talk about it, that's what I'm talking about, not some remote God, but being alive, being present here now. Okay, so let's actually talk about then this technique. When we take things for granted, we don't experience them. Let me say that again. I'm going to say it like 5 times. When we take things for granted, we actually don't experience them. They are lost to us. Let me say this again. When we take things for granted, they are completely lost to us. We actually don't experience them. However, when we take a little time for this technique that I'm going to teach you right now, we become engaged. And the technique is very simple. All you do is you pause and you kind of notice. That's all you have to do. You do not actually have to feel grateful to practice gratitude. All you have to do is pause and notice. Because when we take things for granted, we don't experience them. It's kind of like when we lose power. We lost power in our region for like 4 days last week, so that's on my mind. When we don't have power, right? It's annoying. Like we don't have hot water, we can't see in the closet, we don't have internet access. All of a sudden, the whole day that we had planned is shuttled. We're not sure if we're going to get food that night. Everything becomes challenging. We get power back on, we feel grateful for a little while, and then within a week, we've forgotten again. We just take it for granted and we're back into our habits. So the technique for today is to pause and simply notice. Because in that way, we're not taking things for granted. And in that way, we're looking for the opportunities in each moment. So this is really the practice of gratitude, is to pause, which we'll do in a moment. We're going to notice a bunch of things. Then from that place, we can look for opportunities in the moment, whatever that moment is. So let's take a moment right now to pause and notice some things, and then we'll get to a meditation. So let's pause. You're all paused here with me. That's why you're watching the video. You're automatically on pause. If you are doing this video or watching the video and doing something else, maybe pause that something else just for a moment. Let's all notice the miracle that we are watching this here together. And yes, I said miracle because let's pause and notice all the things that had to happen. Number one, you had to have a teacher who was willing to turn on her camera and teach. That's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not saying I'm cool. I think it's just... it's just cool that we're like all here. And I was like, hey, I have this idea. Let's do this thing. Other people have showed up who had the same feeling that you did in this moment. Like, man, I could use just a moment midweek to reconnect. That's pretty cool. Those other people had to come together to support. But now let's look even more fundamental. We all have to have access to power because you're all watching this on some kind of device. Don't just think about the electricity you have. Think about all the people that conspired to make that electricity possible. Oh my goodness, from the person in the billing office, to the lineman up there on the wires, hooking them all together, to the electrician who wired your home, your house, your business, on and on and on. Notice all of those events that had to work together to bring you here. Notice that you have internet. So y'all are paying your bills, which means you have money from somewhere. Something is coming in to support you financially. Wow, that's pretty cool. Now think, if you're listening to my voice, you have ears that are functional. Your nervous system is functioning. You have little audio cilia in your ears, little hairs that wave in response to my voice, and they turn that into electrochemical signal, which your brain interprets as sound. Is your mind blown yet already about how many things are conspiring to make this moment possible? If you're watching this, if you're a sighted person, your eyes are functioning. Your retina, your rods, and your cones are going through that optic nerve into the brain, and you're seeing Gita dancing there on your screen like the big old nerd that she is. I mean, look at all of these things that had to happen in just this moment. And I don't know about you, but when I start to look at life that way, to pause and to notice, already I start to go like, yeah, despite the challenges that are going on, I start to feel a little grateful. So let's take this a step further and actually do a meditation. About a 6 or 7 minute meditation. For those of you who have to be like hard out at 12:30, I'm going to go to 12:35 because we were 5 minutes late. I don't want to jip you. I'm just going to do a little meditation. If you've never meditated before, like, it is so no big deal. You just have to sit there or lay there or stand there, listen to my voice, and like, that's it. There's no high set of expectations here. And we're going to do a little meditation to just get us grounded in our bodies and just to let the waves of our mind maybe settle down a little bit or not. And then we'll bring back in this gratitude technique of pausing and noticing. And that's it. Water. Wow. Okay. So wherever you are, get yourself a little settled. You can sit, you can lay down, you can stand, but wherever you are, get it to where you feel where you're a little bit sort of uncrossed and unkinked. So if you're really slouched, get to where you can be a bit more open so that there can be a bit more ease in the body. If you have feet on the floor, that's a really nice option so that you can feel the floor beneath your feet. I'm gonna actually kick off my shoes. And let's just take a moment here to kind of settle in. Let's let our physical body settle in. If you've never meditated before, usually it's nice to let your physical body settle, give the mind something to focus on, and then to kind of find a little space where maybe there's some pauses in your day and just kind of be there. That's really it. So let's just do a little side stretch. Maybe you've had a long morning. Maybe bring some breath in or not, just a deep breath in and out. Up the sides of the body, maybe a little rotation. I like to go to the right first. That's a good idea for digestion, but follow yourself. Little rotation to the left, just kind of moving around a little bit. See what is going to work for you. Maybe some shoulder rolls. Wow, crunchy shoulders for me. Turn the neck side to side, up and down. Let your hands rest on the lap, or if you have another position that you like for them, whatever feels good. Bring the gaze to the floor. If you like, you can close your eyes or just bring the gaze down and let your vision go like a little hazy so you can start to draw that awareness within a little bit. And you can just take a nice breath in, inhaling, and a full, complete exhale. And you can even sigh out for this one. Let your inner system feel like it's depressurizing. Take a breath in. And out. Let the breath be a pause itself. Let the breath help you pause. Deep breath in. Pause at the top of the inhale, then a smooth, complete exhale. And just notice the pause at the end of the exhale. So the pattern is just to inhale deep. Notice the slight pause. Exhale fully. Notice the slight pause. If you feel dizzy or lightheaded, just let your breath be what it wants to be. Just noticing inhales, pause, exhale, pause. Literally practicing how to pause. It's not always an easy thing. Continue at your own pace. I'll guide a few more, but let your breath follow your own inhale and exhale. Let my voice kind of start to even fade to the back. So it's a general guide, but not something that you have to match exactly. So it's just a deep breath in. Notice the pause and a full, complete exhale. Pause. Full, complete inhale. Notice the pause and then an exhale. Pause. One more cycle of breath. And out. Pause. And then just let your breath go to its normal pattern and bring into your mind's eye your state of health. And just notice where your health has been in the past month. No need to judge or classify, just sort of simply labeling. And then looking for any opportunities in the moment for places where your health is functioning just as it should. Notice that your heart is beating. Notice that your breath is flowing in and out. Notice that your ears are listening. And notice how all of these are opportunities of the moment. Notice all of the processes of the body that are functioning to support you in this moment. And then let that just fade. And now bring into your mind's eye your primary relationships. And look and notice opportunities of those moments for you. Were there opportunities to learn from pain? Were there opportunities to be grateful for people who are making your life easier? Either way, just pause, notice your relationships, and allow yourself to be aware of the opportunities of this moment that exist in all of your relationships. And then let those fade. And bring into your mind's eye your career, or the way that you serve your community, or anything that you engage with outside the home. And just notice where that's been for you lately. And observe the opportunities of those activities. Just simply pausing, noticing your service in the world, and looking for the opportunities of those moments. And then let that fade. And feel yourself simply allowing the body to relax, allowing your mind just to begin to be a little bit more quiet. Thoughts may come and go, but there is that part of you that can notice all of this happening. Strengthening your connection to the pause, strengthening your connection to your ability to notice the opportunities of each moment. And as we just hang out in this moment of quiet meditation, of pausing, noticing the opportunities of the moment, taking this opportunity to be grateful for all of those wonderful teachers and practitioners of this great science of yoga who for thousands of years have safeguarded these traditions so that we can hang out today and enjoy a practice of meditation and gratitude. How amazing it is that someone 1,000 years ago was thinking of you in this moment. Feeling that support always. We'll conclude our meditation with one deep breath in and out. Bring your awareness back to the body and the room. Just notice what happened for you, knowing it's all for good. It's all practice. So this practice of gratitude is one of pausing, noticing, and looking for the opportunities in each moment. And in doing so, we become spiritual, which just means alive, awake to each moment. I am very grateful to have spent this time with you today. I'll be back next Wednesday at noon on Facebook and on YouTube. And next week is going to be all letting go, because it's so hard to let go. So we'll practice that together. Many thanks to all of my teachers in the integral yoga tradition and all of their teachers for bringing this to my life, because they've brought me all of you, and I'm grateful for all of that. I give you lots of peace, joy, love, and light. Have a beautiful day. If you have questions, drop a comment, like it, share it, spread the love, subscribe if you're on YouTube. And you can always drop me an email if you have a question. Find me at gitabrown.com. Okay, much love to you all. Have a beautiful, peaceful, wonderful, grateful day. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace to all of you. Thank you, my friends. Bye-bye. Peace. Peace, you're very welcome. You're welcome. Bye, guys. Bye, guys. See you. Peace.